made a strong directive to strip system loss charges from consumer bills. I do not know how he will do it without directing Congress to amend the EPIRA law. Millions of consumers cheered, just like the previous SONA, na mahiya naman kayo kung napalakpakan itong mga ganggong to. However, words alone cannot lower electricity rates. Department of Energy officials themselves admit that because system loss pass through are barked directly into our laws. Regulatory circulars are powerless. Rhetoric without legislative action is merely a false promise to a suffering public. Naintuan naman ta. If this administration is genuinely serious, we must target the root cause. For over 2 decades, the Electric Power Industry Reform Act, or EPERA, has stood as the enabling law of this flawed system. Under Section 43 of the EPERA, distribution utilities like more are legally permitted to pass the cost of technical inefficiencies and electricity theft onto the public through regulated system loss caps. Furthermore, under the guise of consumer promotion in Section 41, utilities hold multi-million peso bill deposits with weak transparency mechanisms. The weight of this legislative failure is felt heavily on the ground. In Iloilo City alone, this directly impacts more than 104,000 households and over 14,000 commercial and small-scale business entrepreneurs. This serves as the backbone of our local economy, being crippled by unpredictable pass-through charges that eat into their margins. Across the nation, millions of the consuming public suffer the exact same fate, forced to pay for power they never utilize. If the President meant what he declared, he should have immediately instructed the Department of Energy and the Energy Committees of both houses to fast-track structural reforms. More importantly, he must certify that bill amending EPIRA as urgent. We do not need vague warnings. We need legislative teeth. We must completely strip the pass-through provisions in Section 43 and so consumers only pay for what they consume. We must heavily reform Section 41 to ensure that bill deposits are transparent and automatically refunded. Madam Presiding Officer of this august body, let this Council take the lead. Let us urge Congress to amend EPIRA now. Our people have paid for corporate inefficiencies for far too long. On this note, I am filing corollary motion addressed to Congress entitled a resolution urgently petitioning Congress of the Philippines to amend Section 41 and 43 of Republic Act 9136, otherwise known as the Electric Power Industry Reform Act of 2001. It's more than 25 years already, to restructure bill deposit refunds, lower the cap on system loss, recovery charges, and exempt the generation and system loan charges from the 12% value-added tax to protect electricity consumers nationwide. With this, Madam Presiding Officer, I've invited, with your indulgence, the President, Roel Castro, but he's unavailable, but he sent his experts, no? Limagid gali sila ka representatives, which I already mentioned, as his authorized representative to present their side on this matter. Instead of me calling committee hearing, i-shortcut na lang nito. In a way, we give them time. This is for the benefit of the general public. So, if we can suspend the House rules, may I request the Majority Floor Leader to please, can we suspend the House rules?
Ikaw na lang.
Okay, just move. Okay, so thank you for allowing me. So I move to suspend the House rules to accommodate some of your questions, which will address not only which will address the problems not only in the city but even in the entire country. It may help us also.
It has been moved and duly seconded. Here are no objections. Rules